Now, a few years back, I had just finished teaching a crucial conversation class when a young woman, Debbie, came up, and she told me that she really enjoyed the class. She learned a lot, and she thought that she would use many of the skills that she learned. But then she went on to tell me that, you know that thing about motives, though? I've got a situation with a woman where I will never be able to come up with what you call a healthy or a productive motive. She then went on to share a situation. She was rather new in the organization, had been there just a short time, and was also a newly promoted supervisor. Now, the reason that she was able to have that supervisor position is that the position was vacated because the previous supervisor, Mary, had been demoted. Mary now reported to Debbie. Mary had years and years and years of experience in this organization. She was a subject matter expert, and she was now reporting to Debbie, who was this young, less experienced supervisor. And Mary didn't like it. And she demonstrated her unhappiness in several ways. It wasn't uncommon for Mary to enter into Debbie's office, raise her voice, and even begin to yell at her. Sometimes she would even yell at her in public places. If Debbie were to approach Mary and ask her a question or delegate some kind of work, Mary would often not even acknowledge that she was there. Now, to make matters worse, Debbie went to her manager to ask for his advice, and he said, "I hired you to handle these kind of problems." So when Debbie described her situation, she said, "As much as I think about it, I can't imagine a healthier, productive motive with this woman." So I took a moment and I asked her, I said, "Debbie, if you could have this first conversation with Mary, and you could create the ideal outcome for this conversation, what would you want that to be?" She says, "That's easy. I just want her to admit that she has a problem and she needs help." Then I said, "Well, let me just reverse this a second. If that was Mary's motive about you, how would you feel in terms of that conversation?" "Well, I wouldn't like it. I wouldn't like it one bit. She needs to understand the problem she's causing for me, how all these changes are affecting me." And as she began to talk, I noticed that she slowed down a little bit, kind of her voice got a little bit more quiet. She kind of stepped back and she smiled and she says, "Okay, I think I get what you're talking about." So I said, "So let's talk about applying that skill that we learned for how we create a healthy motive." So let's start with the first question. When you go into the conversation, what is it you'd like for yourself? "Well, that's easy. I'd like to be able to work with her. I'd like to be able to go to her and ask questions, get information. I'd like her to treat me with respect. I'd like to be able to get my job done." That sounds good. "What would you like for Mary?" "Well, I wish Mary would just be happy. I wish Mary could feel like we appreciate her and that she has something she can contribute and that she needs to just kind of get over things." "What would you like for your relationship?" "I wish we could just get along and be respectful." So I said, how does that sound as a productive motive? About 3 weeks after that conversation, I was sitting at my computer working when an email came in. And I'd like to share this email with you. "Thank you for coaching me prior to my crucial conversation. It took place a week or so after it was initially scheduled, but went really well. I stayed calm and was able to focus on what I really wanted for myself, for Mary, and the relationship. We were able to reach a workable set of guidelines by recognizing that we both wanted respect. Even my counseling suggestion to her was well received because the conversation was very safe. I was delighted with the outcome. Since the conversation, we have worked well together. I am not expecting complete bliss, but one of the most fundamental items that we agreed to is that neither of us was trying to insult or hurt the other person. We both agreed to step back if we get defensive and think about this basic point. All in all, it's a good start." I hope you choose your motives well.